finished reading The Holocaust, a graphic guide, and here is my book review. The structure and layout of the book is very good and it's very informational, but there is a few things I want to critique. At the very beginning of the book, there's a chart provided with how many victims died in the Holocaust, and all of the deaths are labeled. They put them as unknown, which the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum has come out with a chart that's been studied, researched, and it provides all of the deaths. I will provide a photo of this. And my biggest critique, which is why I am only going to give this book a 5 out of 10, is their obvious bias, which should not be included in this book. In fact, if they wanted to write about this certain topic, they should have done it in an unbiased way that doesn't confuse readers. The way the authors speak of Zionism and Israel at the end of the book is disgusting and disgraceful. The authors have a clear bias, which is inappropriate in the context of which they are writing about, aka the Holocaust. They refer to the surviving Jews of the Holocaust as now becoming like their oppressors, the Nazis. For this reason, I would not recommend this book to any Jew or non-Jew who knows the true history of the land of Israel and Zionism. If it weren't for the disgraceful and heavily opinionated view of Israel and modern Jews, I would recommend. But genuinely, shame on the authors for having a clear bias which should not be tolerated in such a book. To blame the Jews who survived the Holocaust and refer to them as being like the Nazis is beyond wrong. It's inappropriate, and it should, if you have your opinions about Zionism, you can have your opinions, but when writing about the Holocaust, you need to be unbiased and probably not victim blame the Jews. But in between the beginning of the book and to the end, the in-between was written very well, very informational, accurate, and the design of the book, as I mentioned, is really interesting to look at. I actually like the style, but I personally would not recommend this book. There's much better ones you can go for. And this one, it felt wrong and icky because they're the 3 authors, obviously. I don't know if all of them have the same opinion, but I do not know how they let that slide at the end. It also implies that the Jews have made the West feel guilty for not stepping in and doing more, which the Allies could have stepped in and do more. I mean, they had clear aerial photos of the camps. They could have bombed them. They didn't. And they had excuses for turning away the Jews every single time an offer was placed. Even by the Nazis, when they were like, okay, we'll let these many Jews go, but Ally leaders rejected their propositions many times. So basically the authors say that Israelis and Jews have made the West feel guilty, and that's why Israel is still what it is still a country, is still a state, is because we've made the West feel guilty and we must have our own country, which is just diabolical to say at the end of a book about the Holocaust.